Shut up and sit down. So, I have spent my entire weekend at an anime convention, and I basically spent the entire time in line waiting to talk to voice actors for some of my favorite shows ever. And just a conversation I had with one of the guys, and a conversation that not really a conversation, but something I've sort of realized after just spending enough time on the internet. And here's what really triggered this conversation for me. So, I'm trolling around the internet, I'm doing my own thing, I'm looking around, and I think I went back to Yahoo because that's where I keep my email. And I see something that, by some famous person, I can't remember who it was, but it's basically saying, the headline, and that's all I read, and that's all I needed to read, is, well, this is what Americans need to hear. And you know what, I don't even need to read it. It's probably some stupid thing where this celebrity is going to come out and say, well, you need to do this, this, and this. And you know what, you're right. I didn't read it. I don't know what he said. He probably said something, he might have said something similar to me. He really might have. However, I doubt it. So here's what Americans really need to hear, in general, from anyone. Anyone who is going to come in front of a video and tell you what you're supposed to hear is full of shit. Yeah, I'm immediately going to contradict myself by saying that what I have to say is not important. Because the words that I'm going to come across in this, I don't know how long video, are not as important as all of the information you collect together. That is what you need to do. Now, this is just sort of a general discussion talking about celebrities, because at the end of the day, celebrities of any form, even if they have the smallest following, even if they have 100 people who are just seriously dedicated to them, and they could be even considered minor internet celebrities, at the end of the day, they are regular people. They are regular people who go through their day, do not know, they focus on their own issues. They focus on the things that affect them on a daily basis. And they don't know what's going on in your life. Plain and simple. These people do not know what is going on with you. They don't know what's going on with me, and they don't know the troubles and trials and tribulations that I go through on a daily basis. So they have no right to speak of what I need to hear. Which is the same thing, I have no right to speak on what you need to hear. That's the way it is. This is just my opinion. At the end of the day, that's all this is me coming in front of this camera and giving you the thoughts that come out of my head and give you my opinion. Now, at the same time, celebrities are just regular people. Again, no matter how small of a following, even still, if they have a really small following, then they're even more regular than the rest of us. Or, not the rest of us, but they're even more regular than, like, the big name celebrities who have millions of dollars. The little guy eking out a few $1,000s a month from YouTube is just as average, just as normal as the rest of us. And the point of that is, you don't really have that much of a right to demand too much from them. At the end of the day, they are going in there, busting their asses in a studio. Me, I'm not. I am literally popping up my camera in my room. I'm in the middle of watching some wrestling just for the fun of it. And I had a few drinks, or I actually had one drink, and I just decided to get in front of the camera and talk. And that's what some people do. That's all some people do. And they have a good following because of what they do. But then they get people who come in, they demand, they expect stuff that they expect things that the creator is not willing to make. I mean, I've had a very minimal impact. As far as videos go, I am a nothing. I literally do not exist as far as videos go, But in terms of modding, I have found a very small niche in the Skyrim modding community by taking parts from other people's mods who have given general permission, and I have put their mods together into my own little bundles and put them out. I've made a few NPCs and I've made an armor and weapon mod. And I still, even then, had a couple people who came in and were just like, hey, why aren't you giving me this? Why aren't you giving me that? And it's like, you know, dude, I have a fucking life. He called himself on it. I will give him that, and I will fully accept that and acknowledge that. He called himself on it and said, hey, look, I realize you have a life and I shouldn't be demanding these things. But it was still one of those things where for a moment, and I didn't say anything before he called himself on that. It was one of those things where I said, you know what, you're not worth my time if you're going to sit there and be demanding of me. And he wasn't too demanding, but it was still one of those things like, I'm not going to really acknowledge you. But the fact that he was sitting there saying like, hey, don't tease me about this, it was like, I don't really want to deal with you. Now, I still want to make content. It's one of those things where I still constantly, almost on a daily basis, I check my mods. Even though they've only got like, what, 5,000 views, or 5,000 downloads is my highest one, which is still relatively nothing, but it's still one of those things where I want to contribute to my community, to the modding community, to the video community. That's one of those things I want to do. And that's why I'm making this video specifically. The reason I am making this video is because people do not realize, or they don't seem to realize, or they don't care, that at the end of the day, celebrities are just regular people who have their own opinion, who have their own point of view from their perspective. Now, some people do have a bit more background. Some people do have a bit more ground to cover. But at the end of the day, they are not you. They do not know the personal struggles you are going through. And you really should not base your life on them. But again, at the same time, you do not know what they are going through, and you should not be expecting things that they cannot or just will not provide. So, until next time, guys, I'm sketchy, and that's just my opinion, no matter how sketchy it might be.